I made a little mistake earlier. I went live using one I'd set up the other day, and I delisted it to where no one could see it. So I had no viewers the whole time, which is a little bit embarrassing, but sometimes it does happen. Now, this is a 100-gram silver bar, Scottsdale. It's kind of thick. It's a good weight, a little over 3 troy ounces. Now, if you were watching last night, I dropped this. This is a fake Walking Liberty $half. But I found it, so it was no big deal. Now, while I was live earlier, I was explaining how I had this for a while. Got it last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly when. It's been a while. It's 30 grams, 90% silver, 1948. I only made 2 years of these, and today I went by my coin dealer and he had the 1947, which that completes the set. $1947, 1948. There's only 2 years for these. The 48, they made a lot more than they did the 47. And if you go on AppMex and try to buy these, they ask quite a bit, so you might have better luck buying it from a local dealer when they have them. All right. One other thing, I got this graded World War II coin. I want you to have a good look at it. It's great. It's 50-cent coin. It's a B-29 and some soldiers. 1991, 1995. This is 50th anniversary. It's $half. Now right here, the plastic's scratched up, not the coin. So what I want you to do is get, what grade do you think PCGS gave this? Hello, Silver and Cigars. How are you doing tonight? I was explaining earlier, I went live using one I set up the other day, and I delisted it to where no one could see it. And apparently, I didn't notice that. No one stopped by the live stream, and I thought that odd. So mistakes happen. Now, I got these the other day. There's a couple of cap bust $half in this, along with the barber. These two are worn quite a bit, and I got them right at melt, which, had they been in better shape, I would have never been able to get them that cheap. Because these in good shape, I have a couple examples of better shape ones than those. It's 1825, full rim, nice back. You can get a good look at it. It's a lot less worn. And then this one, 1831, not worn very much either. A lot of good details left on this particular one. When they're in better shape, like this one was, and this one is, they cost a lot more than melt. In fact, it's pretty easy for these to start around $100 when they're in better shape and graded. And for those who don't know, these have letter edging. You can see where it says 50. It says $half or 50 cents around the rim. And These two, although worn, you can still see the letter edge writing on it, although it is kind of worn. Now, talking about some other silver bars. Sometimes you go to your coin dealers and they'll have what is basically a generic silver bar like this one. It's a Morgan dollar, 1 ounce, 1 troy ounce fine silver, 3/9 fine. Nothing special. HM, which I don't really. Anyway, usually these are $1 or $2 over the melt value, spot price of silver at the time. But when you get into these, this is an art bar. This one is gold plated. They were made in the 70s, so they're kind of vintage. 0975. They made 5,000 each of these gold plated ones. America the Beautiful. So this one's on the rarer side of these, because the other ones that are America the Beautiful, like this one's not gold plated, has number 409 on it. This one does, on its side, have EGP, 24 karat, and it's HM, which is Hamilton mint. These, they made 10,000 of the ones that aren't plated. America the Beautiful, 3/9 fine. This one's for the French Quarter, and you can kind of read what it says on the back. And if you have to, I'll go slow enough, you should be able to read it along with this. New Orleans. And they did not stop with just one set. They made other ones. This one's the Wonders of America. And right at the bottom, it says 1 troy ounce, 3/9 fine, the Hamilton mint. This one is for Old Faithful, which is a geyser that erupts pretty well on, it's in Yellowstone, erupts on a pretty normal schedule. And the steam, the water and steam can rise up between 120 and 170 feet. Hence why it looks like this, where at the bottom you can see what people are watching the eruption. I believe these are also available in gold plating and just silver. And I think it is 5,000 for the gold plated ones and 10,000 of the non-gold plated. So those are art bars. And when you can buy them at the same price as what I call this generic bar, it's usually not a bad idea to get them, because generally they should sell for more. Now, let me talk about some foreign silver. But one last thing about, we'll move them art bars out of the way to get to these. Put them right back down here so anyone can see them. Now, I got both of these right at melt. Now, my coin dealer had a third one, and I was looking at it. However, something just didn't look right. Had a hole in it and was bent, some damaged, but it had a lot more details than these two do. So I tried to ping test it. It did not ping. Now, 90% silver If it's got a cracked rim, probably won't. If it's just got a hole in it like this German Zwie mark from 1912, it will ping kind of nicely if I can get it to stay on my finger. It's hard to do sometimes, but oh yeah, I'll talk about selling ships on coins. I got a set of Belize coins from 2003 that had this dollar coin in it. Now when I went back to my coin dealer, he had another one of these, loose, just $1. And since I like the ship design and he sold it for $0.25, I went ahead and bought it. I don't know if it's probably not legal tender anymore, because a lot of countries, they like to change their coins up all the time and demonetize the old ones. But Mexican silver, I completed the set, 47 and 48 Cinco Pesos. The 47, they're about 5 million made. I think they made 30 something million of the 48, so it's far more common than the 47. And I got it at a really good price, which in a lot of ways I don't think I should have been able to, but I did. Now, Mexican silver varied in percentage quite a bit. This is 0.9027, which is 90.27%. It's a little bit older coin, especially than then. It's an un-peso, 1902. These are rather big coins, as this Morgan dollar will show you. That one's just a nick bigger, and these are a little bit bigger yet. The ASW on these is about 0.86, give or take. It's 30 grams, but 10% of it is copper. But I was happy to get the 47 to complete that set. And if you didn't see this, I was really happy to get this one too. This is sterling silver, it's British. And it's 1819, although the date's almost gone. They only made these 3 years in this particular design. Now, a few years later, after the 1902 big coin, they made it an un-peso like this one is. 1933. And this one is 720, or 72% silver, which is the amount of silver that they would use again and again. They would make 50% silver ones, then they would make 10% silver ones. So you never really knew what you were going to get. But I like the design on these. I just kind of wish they would have used 90% silver instead, but they didn't. But yeah, on the capped half bust. He also took it and put it on the Sigma after I pointed out that that one weighed 11 grams. We started over 13 grams. They are bigger than the modern half dollar. And I kind of show you using this barber half. You can see the diameter is quite a bit bigger. Hence, these start at 12.5 grams, and this one starts at 13. 0.48 something or something like that. So to be 11 grams, and these are both in the 12 plus, so, and have more details, means it couldn't be a correct coin. And then he took it and put it on a Sigma, and it wouldn't read on 90. He even put it on Canadian, 80%, I wouldn't read on that. So he's like, I don't know why they would make a fake coin of this. It's kind of common. It was the 1823. This is a 25. All these are fairly common. They made quite a few of them, and they mostly got used. Because back then, 50 cents was a lot of money. Not like today, where a 50-cent coin, you never see them. Never see them in circulation. And I want to thank Addicted to Minis, because it helped me identify this coin when he sold it to me. He thought it might have been a 90% coin, but the outline of the head, and then seeing this design, which is very little left, but the shape and the 38, told him it was a Netherlands coin, 2.5 guldens. It's 720 silver, so he dropped the price because it's not 90%. It's still a good sized coin though. About the same diameter as the Morgan, pretty much. This one's worn. Unworn, it might be a little thicker on the rim than this one is, but silver still pings. If I can get this to balance. Bigger the coin, the easier this is to do. So anyway, that covers that part. Now, been able to get several of these lately. These are from the Philippines. We made these for their government. These are 80% silver, and they are about a half an ounce of silver by the silver content. I've got about 5 total, maybe 6. These are all been loose. They're all, one's 1907, and the other 2 are 1908. They're neat design. I like this design quite a bit. Has the eagle and a shield. This is San Francisco minted. We made it for the Philippines, who were our protected then. It's a neat design. If I can get them at a good price, I'll buy them anytime I see them. Because that's basically 1.5 ounces of silver, or troy ounces, that is, 1.5 troy ounces of silver. And these are generally cheaper than buying US 90%. Because they're just not, usually not much premium, if ever, or if any premium. So, hello, John Argent. Whenever I can find something like this, and if it's reasonable, this is 100 grams, 3/9 fine, Scottsdale silver bar. About 3.25 ounces, troy ounces worth. Just a little under that, but it's over 3 ounces of 3/9 fine silver. It's a nice piece. I like it quite a bit, and I hope that if you find one, keep in mind this will feel pretty heavy for its size, as will any other silver coin. If you have a coin that's a fake one, like this is a dangerous fake, because it looks, design-wise, they copied the $50 real close. And the way you can get tricked by one of these is if you buy a bag of bulk walkers. Like, say you buy 50 bulk walkers and someone's had this and they wanted to get rid of it and not tell you, and they stuck it in there. You might not notice until you looked at it real close that it's not a real walker. And for that matter, 1918, most of them will be worn a lot more than this is. And if they're not, they'll be a bit of a premium. You know, this Thaler has a hole in it and some holes drilled in it. It's a good sized coin. It's 1770, which is right down there. It might be sterling. I can't remember what its content is, but get it right up on. It's hard to balance sometimes, but it does ring properly. Now, even though it's an old coin, when you look, it's likely been cleaned and circulated quite a bit. But when you look at the edges of them lines in that circle in the design itself, it's relatively sharp, even though it's this old. Now, fake coins, like this one, even though it kind of looks right, don't weigh right. And when you get close to this and start looking at the surface of the coin, you can see that it's scratched, but it also looks somewhat pitted, more so than these usually do. I mean, this is a 1912 90% silver coin. We'll look at its surface. It's scratched, likely been, pocket circulated for a while. But the surface of this in the field is kind of smooth, less porous looking. Now, it's kind of hard to see much of the field on this side because this covers the whole back with very little opening. It's a Zui mark. And as it is, these without a hole, their ASW is about like 4.9 or something. So it's almost a half an ounce. And it does have some letter edge on it and some design stuff. It's kind of a pretty cool coin, even though it's German. In 1912, right before World War I, they were not. We were fighting them, and then we fought them again in World War II. So they didn't have a very good reputation with the West then. It's improved now because they're part of NATO and right in the center of Europe. Very important country for NATO. But yeah, being able to identify this one with so little left on it was pretty cool. 720 silver. But that's pretty much what I have to talk about. And next time I go live, I hope I won't make the same mistake I did earlier and set the thing to being unlisted. And then it meant no one knew I was even live while I was doing it. 1906, barber, worn quite a bit. When these are less worn, they go up in value quite a bit. Because it's not very common for them to be like AU, extra fine AU or even mint state. They use these a lot. In fact, coin dealers tell me their dads used to get these in change all the way up into the 50s. So that's 50 years of circulation for a coin like this. It's not surprising that it'd be worn a lot. And the fact they used them a lot is why you don't see too many of these in AU or mint state. But that's pretty much what I had to talk about. And I hope that everyone has a good night. And we'll see you next time.